This video introduces you to the who, the why, and the how behind the climate web. I keep it short. There are other videos for you to take a look at to get more in depth, but this really just starts off the conversation. Starting with the who, I joined the World Resources Institute in 1988 to work in the Climate, Energy, and Pollution program and have been focused on climate change ever since. I've worked with the IPCC. I started Trexler Climate Energy Services in the early 1990s and have done many years of management consulting in this space. Laura Kozloff, who's worked with me extensively over that period, is a lawyer, an environmental lawyer, and has worked extensively in climate change for many years. Now, if you want to understand where we're coming from on the topic of climate change, take a look at the video that I've linked to this one just below this thought. Why have we been focused on building the climate web for the last several years? Well, based on 25 years in this space, I am firmly convinced that it is communications issues that are the key challenge facing progress on climate change. Now, in terms of the focus of the climate web on actionable knowledge, that came out of a specific conference I attended about 5 years ago, where the authors of this report, Influencer, presented their findings on how we influence decision making. And they argued that actionable knowledge is really key to trying to influence anyone's decision making. Now, in the case of climate change, this is a real challenge because you've got almost an infinite information, you've got all these barriers sitting in the middle, and then you've got lots of different potential audiences that you're trying to get the information to. Now, I know that actionable knowledge works as a concept. I was working with a Fortune 100 company, a number of senior executives sitting around the table. Most of them had never really thought about whether climate change is a material business issue for the company. And I ended up putting this slide up on the screen showing fire risk in the Western United States. And suddenly several people around the table said, now I get it. Now I understand why climate change is a business issue for us. That is actionable knowledge. In terms of the key question of how we built the climate web, let's first take a look at what's required in terms of the challenge of coming up with the actionable knowledge that we're looking for. We're starting with virtually infinite information. We're having to slice and dice that information in lots of different ways for lots of different decision makers, so at the end of the day, you're giving them what they need to be able to answer the key, is it worth it, can I do it, questions. Now, I've had an interest in knowledge management for a lot of years, and we've actually used this brain software for many years for our own purposes and for business purposes. And when we started building the climate web, we realized that it was really the perfect tool for doing that. But before getting into the structure of the climate web, let me share with you a short but great story of how the brain software can advance the interests of someone like an investment analyst. And just take a look at it. This is the end of this particular video, and then you can move on to the video where we do get into the details of how investing in climate change is dealt with in the climate web.